What is up, gamers? It's your boy the Goods, and we are back for episode number 17 of Narcissu. We are on the second Narcissu, and it is time for chapter 13, Kindness. Last episode, we learned a little bit about Nello and Alois, and now we're going to learn a little bit more. Maybe. Hot. Without thinking, the word slipped out. It looked like today was going to be a true midsummer day. And in that, while heading to the usual hospital, I turned to a different place. The church. Since that day before going to the beach, it was my second time coming here. For some reason, Himeko-san did not try to meet with Chihiro-san. More accurately, it was probably not just Chihiro-san. Family and friends, anyone close, one could believe that she was avoiding them. And so like this, in her stead, I came to Chihiro-san. Same as before, I quietly open the door, my feet step in. Chihiro-san. Ah, Setsumi-san. I have brought this. As I spoke, I handed over the key I was entrusted with. Himeko-san said to hand this over. I see. Thank you. In such heat. As she replied and accepted the key, Chihiro-san gave me her usual calm smile. And then, from her pocket, she took out a handkerchief. Ah, the sweat that was running down my face, she gently wiped it off. Thank you. So can you tell One-chan for me? If there's a time that she needs it, tell her to just say any time. Alright. All while she was speaking, Chihiro-san continued to dab away my sweat. Well then. Wait a moment. May the bountiful blessings and grace of the Lord be upon you. Again, for my sake. For that question there came no answer. Just the usual gentle smile faced me. When I left the church, it was like a deluge of cicada cries. The sun right overhead dropped sharp, black, short shadows during the peak of the heat. In the middle of this, Chihiro-san said she would now go to university, and when that ended, would come again to the 7th floor. Saturdays, she also went to school for the disabled, and Sundays helped with mass, so she said. I was sure that compared to people of a similar age, she was entirely different. They would pass their time in self-centered and fun ways. This way of life, whether it was only Chihiro-san who followed that path, or if one were a Catholic, it was perfectly natural, I didn't know. Once again coming to the hospital, I followed the white tape running along the floor and headed to the elevator. The elevator bell chimed, and on the now familiar 7th floor, I hastened towards the room where Himeko-san was waiting. I knocked on the door. Come in. The door opened with a click as I stepped in. Welcome. Today was probably too hot, wasn't it? Before I could reply, I was caught by something else. At a glance, it seemed like she was in the middle of digging around for something. Today's a bathing day, so I was getting ready. Now that she said so, I saw that set out around the table were wash bins, shampoos, and the like. I know, why don't you come in with me? Come in? That's right, together in the bath. What's so funny? That reaction just now is the best. You're normally so cool, even more so. Now, we're both girls, you don't have to be so embarrassed about it. I thought about objecting that Himeko-san wasn't a girl, but stopped. She's a grown-ass woman. Well, let's go. But wait. Yeah, don't worry. Somewhere, Himeko-san seemed to be having fun. Like she were poking fun at me in my hesitation. This year, pushing me from behind, she took me along. Water splashed. See, washing the sweat off feels good, doesn't it? In the end, I was almost half forced into the bath. However, I thought that it wouldn't be wide enough for us to go in together, but there was enough room for two to manage. Most likely, it had been built with the assumption that a helper or attendant would also go in. But instead of the size of the bath, I noticed something else and couldn't help but fall silent. Is it unusual? Saying that, Himeko-san pointed at the large scar on her own chest. So large that my own small scar couldn't even compare. Well, I guess I'm also a girl after all. When I got this, it was a big shock. I quietly listened to those words. Even if I had wanted to reply, I couldn't think of what to say. Oh hey, I'll wash your back, so sit there. Alright. And so together in the shower, she gently washed my back with a towel. I couldn't help but recall how it was like Chihiro-san had earlier wiped my sweat away. For me, I didn't know whether Himeko-san was devoted Catholic or not. But both of them, without question, I believe they were very kind people. Say, Himeko-san, why are you avoiding Chihiro-san? Just like I said before. Because she's a kind and good person? Well, that's half of it. Then the other half is... That's a secret. There's also a rule, after all. Rule, that had also been the word from before. And if so, what am I? I'm not a gentle and kind person, so the One-san will be kind to me? At that question, this time, Himeko-san also fell silent. And then, after a bit of thought, she's special, that Professor Croquette. Saying that again, water splashed at me. What? Hey, it's about time that we got out. In the end, the conversation was avoided. Even without that, Himiko-san's words had many incomprehensible points and were full of secrets. But, just maybe, I was being mixed with someone else in her eyes. After knocking, the door opened with a click. So, have you finished eating? Hey, you're leaving the broccoli again. But I don't really like them. Oh, there's just no helping you. Even though previously she would eat them, now she had come to leave them because she didn't like them. But this wasn't like her sickness had turned for the worse and her appetite dulled. It was simply that she was warming up to me, probably, thinking that it also made me happy. Well, here, thermometer. You can take it in your mouth, but careful not to bite on it. Okay. With a smile, the girl had held the thermometer in her mouth. What shone on that face, the summer sun, came through the windows that could only open 15 centimeters. Today, as I once again sat in the folding chair, she directed a happy face towards me. Hey, it's dangerous, so no talking. Alright. In a moment, the thermometer's alarm rang, and I read out the numbers on the LCD. What degree? 36.5. This is about normal. Then I might want to go today, too. The courtyard or ice cream? Which one? It might be hard to pick. If there were no problems with their temperature, they would go to either one. This was with the doctor's acknowledgement, and lately, it had already become a tradition. Oh yeah. Other than that, a lady I didn't know spoke to me. A lady you didn't know? When? Last night. Who could it be? The people who come to this place, called the 7th floor, was, in its own way, supposed to be restricted. First there were patients and the families that come to visit, then there were the doctors, the nurses, and us helpers. Other than that, rarely only the priests and sisters would come. That was supposed to be it. Was it someone's visitor? She was wearing pajamas. I think she's someone from here. That was a bit strange. Sure, in a normal ward, the mingling of patients was common. Once in a while, from a chance meeting in this place, even lifelong friends or business partners would be made. But this 7th floor was different, because everyone was aware of their imminent death. Mingling between patients was almost unthinkable. And, what did she say to you? I was asked which time. Which time? Yeah, she said that if it was the first, she had something to teach me. What did you say? When I said I didn't really understand, I was told she'd come again. What could all that be about? Come to think, there had been a rumor I heard. How, among only the patients on the 7th floor, a legacy continued to be passed down, of rules and the like. Of course, I didn't believe it, and when I asked my previous assigned people, of course they denied it. But, if such a legacy really existed, just what on earth were they passing down? One-san? Sorry. Without meaning to, I'd been staring into space. Well, shall we go to the courtyard today? Look, for once, today's weather isn't that hot. But leaving the ice cream's a bit sad. Then let's eat ice cream in the courtyard. Even if it was cool, it was midsummer. No matter how much wind there was, the sunlight itself was strong. That was why, leaving the girl on a shaded bench in the courtyard, I dashed to a neighborhood convenience store. Sorry for the wait. With the ice cream bought from the convenience store in hand, I ran back. So much sweat. Whew, so hot. Because of the flowing sweat, without thinking, I flapped my skirt. Dashing in this midsummer, sweating was to be expected. Here, it hasn't melted yet. Ice pop. Thank you. But where's One-san's share? It's okay. It was a 60-yen pouch of soda ice. With an exaggerated flourish, I took out the contents to show her. Ta-da! It comes with 2. Take that. The ice pop broke in 2 with a snap. Here, we each get half. Under the blazing summer sun, the 2 of us ate soda ice. Yeah, eating ice is the best in hot places, isn't it? Yes, but it's melting a bit. As we spoke about that, we ate. In the flower bed before our eyes, pansies and gerberas bloomed proudly. The winter use area from the other day, even that would most likely have something planted in it again. I might want you to do that thing again. Sure, hold the ice for a bit. Okay. Both hands of the girl held 1 ice each. One was mine and the other was hers. I took from my pocket the rosary, and as always, brought my hands together quietly. As we forgive those who trespass against us, forgive us our trespassers. The Lord's Prayer, also called our Lord. Probably anything would have been fine. It was simply that I thought of her, and if she was happy with that, then it was enough. Okay, all done. Thank you. No, it's not any great magic after all. In the end, I was simply one of the faithful, and it was nothing more than an imitation. It probably didn't need saying, but none of those words were my own either. Today, whose words were they? Of course, Lord Jesus himself. Then there are other people's too. Yes, there are words of very great saints, popes, words for many people. Wow, there's so many, and One-san knows them. To the girl who seemed impressed, I gave a nod. Of course, I didn't know them all. but reading the things related in a way to the gospel was my intention. Oh, I know. Hey, how about I give this to you? As I spoke, once again I took out from my pocket the rosary. It's okay for me to take this? Sure, I have another one. What's important is that this way we'll be able to do it together. I can do magic too? Well, I don't know if it's magic. Holding the rosary in her hand, the girl looked happy. Normally, patients of the 7th floor were admitted and discharged a number of times, but for the girl there was no home to return to. That was why she was always here. That was why I, too, was always by her side. Nello and Alois met, and soon it would be the 2nd month. Normally, it was the time that the first discharge would have come. Alright, well that is the end of Chapter 13. In the next episode, we will learn about the taboo. Bit ominous. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye!